Okay, good evening, everybody. My name is Jeff Sy. I am the Chair Pro Tem of the Tiburon Planning Commission this evening. Thank you for everyone who's here and watching tonight's meeting. Can we get a call to order and a roll call, please?
Commissioner Woodward,
Present.
Commissioner Williams,
Present.
Acting Chair Sy,
Here.
and Chair DeFever and Vice Chair Amir are absent.
Great, thank you, Chris. May we get any, let's do oral communications. So do we have any members of the public for which that'd be appropriate to do oral communications right now?
There are no oral communications.
Okay, so no one is queued up to talk. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next issue, which is the section for commission and staff briefing. Do we have anything to report, Dana?
I really don't have anything tonight. We will be bringing some more amendments to the zoning code regarding some fence heights, et cetera, to clean up the code, probably in the next couple of months. But right now, nothing huge on the horizon or
Okay.
the immediate horizon.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's turn next to minutes, and this is in particular.
Thank you.
Oh, I apologize.
One thing, I'm sorry,
Yes.
it's my bad. We will be having, or we are trying to schedule a special meeting for TPC to get an update. It's solely for an update. We're not making any decisions on June 16th.
Okay.
Isn't it? Oh, what day did they say? Did we cancel this? You know more than I do. I think she should do the update.
But we always have to keep her, Dina. That's
No plans otherwise. So we are trying to plan the TPC's updates.
wonderful. Thank you.
I just to clarify, the 16th has been canceled.
Chris, you'll send something out indicating that, okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. And to that end, because I know summer's upon all of us, and so everyone, including those folks present here, will have scheduling issues. Right now, what is our next scheduled meeting? Obviously, it's not the 16th. Special or otherwise.
We have no special meetings scheduled. Let me get my calendar, just one moment.
Sorry for putting you on the spot.
No, you're fine. June 11th, we're going to have the landmark review. I don't think we have anything scheduled for the 25th yet, but we have not canceled it. And I don't think we have anything scheduled further out. We're trying to do TPC.
Okay, so June 11th is the next meeting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's turn to the next issue, which are the minutes from our last meeting, which was on March 26, 2025. The members of the commission have received a copy of these action minutes. I'll open the discussion up for any edits or comments about the draft minutes.
I have none.
I'll add real quick, the question, Dina, that I had for you is, I know they're action minutes and they're saving us time and money. Those are two very good things. I noticed though, in these draft minutes, there's a lot, actually, it's a very good description of the public comments, but there wasn't anything in here about the deliberation or comments, et cetera, by the commissioners. Is that intended to be the case with the action minutes?
Yes. So part of the intent is we do mention who the public are that have come, but we do not go into the details of the deliberation by the commission. That's something that's on video. That's kind of what we used to do when we did verbatim.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you would ask this question a moment ago, but the link to the video is online. Is a transcript also
No,
online? No.
but you could use, there are programs that will do a transcript for you, but it is verbatim. I mean, you hear everything.
Yeah.
And I use it all the time.
When I download these videos, I get the video, the audio, and the CCT. So I can give that out to anybody in the public who wants to read the meeting. And I'd be happy to, if you want a copy of that as well, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, very good. And the, a copy of the minutes themselves is available along with the link to the
The
video.
action minutes,
Mhm.
after they're adopted.
After they're adopted, yeah. Okay, great. Okay, I don't have any other comments. Commissioner Woodward, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay, then I will invite a motion to adopt the action minutes from the March 26, 2025
So
meeting.
moved.
Okay, we
I'll
have,
second.
we have a motion made by Commissioner Woodward, a second by Commissioner Williams. All in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, so that motion passes. Let's move on to our action item. We have action item 1, that's what AI stands for, which is to conduct an annual review of the draft 5-year capital improvement program. And as described in the action items on our agenda, the sole purpose of the review is to confirm consistency of the draft CIP with the general plan of the town of Tiburon. And this is also a task that is required by California state law and the government code. Okay, so with that in mind, let's open this up. First, I'll turn to you, Dina, for a staff report, which is our
So,
action.
so I am going to invite David Eshu, who is our engineering manager, to provide us with an overview for the capital improvement program. And he's going to go through each of the programs. So what I would ask is that you wait till he's done and then we can ask questions. I do that only because I fear we won't get through all of them if we don't. So with that, I'm going to hand over the mic to David.
Thank you, Dina. Good evening, commissioners. So this evening, we are here to review the draft capital improvement plan and to confirm consistency with the goals and policies of the Tiburon General Plan. Again, as Chair Jeff Tsai has stated, this is required by California Government Code. The CIP itself, it identifies anticipated capital improvements and their funding sources for the next 5 years, but we primarily focus on fiscal year 26 that's coming up. And the funding appropriation occurs annually through the budget adoption process. So the funding town council will see next month for each of these projects. With the general plan, we have some goals in place for circulation from A all the way to K and 17 that we identified with these 29 projects for next fiscal year. We also talk about some of the open space and conservation, parks and recreation policies and safety goals in mind as well that we assign to every one of these projects. The fiscal year 26 capital improvement plan, and we divide that plan into 3 headings, one of them being street improvement projects that we do every year, second one being the drainage improvement projects, and a third is community and miscellaneous projects. And those are a lot of the data sheets at the end of our presentation talk about the miscellaneous projects as well. And footnote there that, you know, with the exception of few, the proposed 26 projects primarily focus on maintenance and upgrades to our existing town facilities and infrastructures. So we'll start out with the first project, and what we did is we put them in order so they go by what you have in the staff report. The first one is the annual bicycle and pedestrian improvement project. Every year we allocate $50,000 for public works staff to identify any deficiencies within our bike and pedestrian areas within town, whether there'd be steps, lanes, paths, or bikeways. And we go in there, and these are meant to be small, quick projects. They could be signage, stairways, small concrete steps that need to be replaced, railroad ties. So these are just projects that we go by and take a look. Our maintenance folks drive around, or we get calls from the public. We go out there and take a look at them and then make necessary repairs to them. Under 50,000, sometimes we can do 2-3 projects totaling, you know, $15,000 to $20,000 each, somewhere in that ballpark. So we don't have to go out to bid. It's under the $75,000 limit that we do a formal bid on. So these are quick, easy projects for us to do around town when we go out and take a look, or the public gives us a call and notifies us. This one here is a new project that we're starting this year. It's a comprehensive wayfinding sign program, and this was talked about in our recently adopted Parks and Recreation Master Plan. We're going to hire a consultant to look at the whole town comprehensively and provide us with signs that are that we can use basically in all of our parks, the old rail trail, up in the open space, so that we have a common set of signs that all look the same, so that when folks come into Tiburon, they know these are Tiburon signs, similar to what the county has. They all have uniform signage. So we're going to go out and take a look at all of our spaces, all our entry points into open spaces in our park systems, and create a sign program and create signs and put them out there for the public. This next project here is Kleinert Way Circulation Improvement Project. This is a safe pathway project. It's a TAM safe gap project that we applied for and we received grant funding for, $450,000. And what this project will do is we're about 35% complete with the design now. And what it will do is install brand new ADA curb ramps, sidewalk, all the way from the back or the front of the police department on Kleinert Way, circle around and connect to Reed School, where parents pick up and drop off children. It'll provide ADA crossings for children that want to go to the ranch. It'll provide ADA crossings for residents that are over there on Ned's Way in the Hilaritas. So it's a great project that will provide a good circulation plan, widen the area, the roadway, so that it doesn't block public works staff from getting into and out of the corporation yard, while still providing a safe pathway for children to walk to and from school and from the daycare center that's right next door. The next project is a large project. Town Council approved this project last week at the Town Council meeting. This is our large paving project. This will completely rehabilitate Paradise Drive from Sanitary District 5 offices all the way up to the town limits, just past Agresti Way. This is a expensive project. We had it estimated at about $1.65 million. We were very lucky. We had 3 bidders. Bids came in around 1.4 million, so we came in under the engineer's estimate. We plan to start work out there here in the next couple of weeks when school lets out during the summer. It's a 45-day project, working days, so a little over 2 months, and it will completely rehab Paradise Drive. It'll be curbs, gutters where needed, brand new ADA curb ramps where they're needed, striping. It'll take care of drainage, and just make that section of road just nice and smooth for cyclists, motorists, and pedestrians. The next project here is the Main Street Bridge short-term repair project. We've been working on this project for a while. Main Street here, right behind the post office there on Beach Road. That bridge there, believe it or not, it is a bridge, and it was never in the Caltrans bridge inventory system, meaning that the town was stuck to make all repairs and pay for any type of replacement costs related to it, any repairs needed. So we were successful in placing this bridge in the Caltrans bridge inventory, the highway bridge inventory database. And with that, we get to apply for grants to help pay to replace that bridge. We're going to apply for a grant this November, and that grant will provide us anywhere between 80 to 100% of the cost to replace that bridge. But in the meantime, we do need to make some short-term repairs to it because Caltrans does come out there and do quarterly updates and reviews the bridge infrastructure. So in the meantime, it's going to take about 2 years for us to get this bridge replaced. So we have to make some improvements to it. We do have a preliminary estimate here for about $350,000 to do the work. This will not make any changes physically or appearance-wise to the bridge. It'll just fix and repair everything below the surface. The rusted piers, beams, anything metal or steel that's been exposed and eroded. The next project here is the San Rafael Avenue seawall repairs. During the storms that we had this past winter, we had a lot of inundation from the wave action coming in and out. And this is right here on San Rafael, right when you make that right turn from Paradise Drive. We have a little park there, believe it or not, that the town owns with a bench. And this stone here, the riprap that we have out there, was damaged severely, and it's starting to erode our land out there. So we have an emergency project out there to get our permits from BCDC and make some emergency repairs to that seawall. The next project we do every year, it's a storm drain project. This one here is an open cut project. Typically, we do lining projects, meaning we go in there and we do PVC lining in all of our existing storm drain pipes. But this year, this is an open trench, and this project is on Clare Way, Karen Way, and in the park, Bel Air Play Area Park. And what it's going to do is it's going to upsize a lot of our existing infrastructure there. We're going to go from about 12, and our existing pipes out there are between 12 and 18 inches. They're going to be upsized from 24 to 36. This will help a lot. It'll help alleviate a lot of the flooding, localized flooding that's out there on Karen and in front of the school parking lot. And it'll actually improve the drainage in Bel Air Play Area as well. So this project went out to bid. We had a $500,000 engineer's estimate. Bids came in at $350,000. So again, below engineer's estimate. We had nine contractors bid on this project, so it's very popular. And they're going to start work here too as soon as school lets out here in about 3 weeks. That's a 35 working day project. This one here, the storm drain large trash capture device installation, design, and construction. So this project, we are working with McStop, the county department that handles all of the municipalities here in Marin County, all of our stormwater compliances. They applied for an EPA grant and received it. This EPA grant is providing $56,000 worth of grant funding to help design this project for us. This large trash capture device will be where the Fountain Plaza is in the bricks there. And what it will do is collect all the trash. And that trash will stay in there twice a year. We have to go in there. We're going to have a contract for a company to come out there with a vac truck and clean it. But all jurisdictions in California are mandated to have these in place by 2030. So this is, it's a mandate that it must go in. The good thing about this grant is that not only is it supplying us or providing us with $56,000 towards the design to complete it, it's going to pay for 100% of the construction cost for this project. And we're anticipating this will be about between $350,000 to $450,000. And we are receiving close to $560,000 from Caltrans for this project. And an added bonus with this is it's going to be a customized trash enclosure where it'll have a new flap gate on there because our old flap gate has failed. That's why it contributes to some of the flooding here in downtown. So that'll help alleviate some flooding here in downtown as well. Our next project here is the storm drain maintenance and rehab project. This is just a design project. So every August, we go out and design for next year's construction. So this is just a $75,000 placeholder for our consultant to go out and design our next project for next year's construction. Taylor Road drainage improvements. Again, this is another drainage project that what it'll do is it'll replace and repair any damaged infrastructure that we have out there. We usually try to design everything for at minimum a 25-year storm. 25-year storm is your average storm that you get. 100 is like the severe that we have seen in the past. So this is we try to make everything about a 25% or 25-year storm capacity. So we're going to go out there and do some improvements there on Taylor Road. Again, it's about 150,000 that were allotted for making these repairs, and this would be more of a design build type project. Accessibility and evaluation improvements. Again, we want to hire a consultant to come out here and do an analysis of all the town-owned and operated facilities and determine what repairs are needed and upgrades to bring all these places up to current ADA standards, and we try to comply with the town's ADA transition plan. We haven't we're just starting on this, so we hope to get this done. We're working in conjunction with our chief building official here in town to get this started this upcoming fiscal year. The next project that we're also would like to have out here is the Corporation Yard HVAC replacement. We have a pretty old heating system out there. It says 30 to 40, but I think it's a little older than 40 years old. So we're going to look at switching this out to a more efficient heating and cooling system. I believe that we are also looking at some additional PG&E savings to try to convert it to go all electric like we are here at Town Hall. It's a older building, not very large. We won't need that many units, so about 30,000 and some incentives that we feel like we will get will help pay for that transition to get the HVAC system replaced. The next project here is the Lyford Stone Tower. This project will just consist of just replacing the roof. It's been deteriorating, falling apart. We've found some leaks out there this past winter, so this project here will just go out there and replace the roof that's in poor shape. Next project is the police department flooring replacement. This is the ground floor of the police department. I've been out there myself and have looked at it. It is deteriorated pretty badly out there. The linoleum, or it's not linoleum, but the vinyl flooring planks are starting to split apart, tripping hazards. So we're going to remove it and remove all that flooring and replace it with a much more sturdy material. And also we're going to add some type of adhesion in there, or some type of chemical I believe they use that prevents a lot of the moisture that's causing some of this issue, to try to get rid of the moisture below that. This project here has been on our radar for a few fiscal years. It's the transfer switch replacement. So we have an old diesel generator here that kicks in whenever we have a shortage, a surge or a blackout. And what happens is we have an old transfer switch, and what happens is the transfer switch is a manual transfer switch. It doesn't return back, or doesn't cut power to the generator in time if power's turned back on. So what happens is we get a lot of our equipment sometimes goes bad. We've had some damage done to our elevator because of this transfer switch not being up to date and old technology. So we're going to put a new digital automatic transfer switch in to better detect electrical voltage surges and protect the building and all of our electronic equipment whenever we do have a power outage. Town Hall facility and security improvements. This is a new one that we're adding this year. What we're going to do with this project is we're going to add some cameras in the front lobby of Town Hall, just in the lobby, nothing pointed out into the work areas, but just in the lobby, in the common public areas, just so that we do have better security in there when customers, residents, contractors, or anybody comes in, or during the weekends or at night. So we can have some footage in there for police department and for us town hall employees as well for safety. We're also probably going to also add some card readers for employees at the door so that we can come in and out easily with the door readers and badges. So this is something that we're working on, but the camera is installation of cameras is first here. Town hall facility exterior repairs. Again, this project here is we're going to go around town hall, look at all of the wood members, the eaves, the siding, and believe it or not, it's in real good shape, but it's a 30-year-old building. So we've kept up a lot of the improvements on here in maintenance, but we want to go around. We've noticed some dry rot here when we have installed our HVAC system a couple of years ago. Our contractor that installed that did notice some issues with some of our wood members that are starting to decay or deteriorate from dry rot. So we're going to spend some money in bringing this town hall up to current standards as far as any of the siding that has gone bad or any of the eaves, and get those replaced. This project here is new as well. It's a town hall library facility wayfinding signage program. This was part of the Parks Master Plan as well. They did mention in that plan that we do put some signage in and around any of our civic buildings, our libraries, so that when guests come out here, they'll know where town hall is, where the library is. So believe it or not, we still get folks that come here and think that this is the library, and we have them go next door. So it'll be a comprehensive program that will provide signage around Zielinski Park and around both the library and town hall to point folks to the right departments where they need to go. ORT bridge and drainage realignment. So this is it's going to be a fun project here. We have it's right here outside town hall as you go south of the library, where the old rail trail splits in two directions. We have a bridge that goes over a culvert. What we want to do out here is replace that bridge, widen that path so that everybody stays, cyclists, pedestrians, all stay on the, I would say, the west side of the pathway. And what that will do is we're going to open up, make it wider, probably about a 12-foot wide precast iron steel bridge that could be dropped in on the foundations that we'll put in there, the abutments. And we'll also clean up a lot of the visibility issues that we see out there, so sight distance will be improved. This is an exciting project, and this right here, the funds here will be for design and construction all in one fiscal year. San Rafael Crossing and circulation improvements. So this right here is at San Rafael Avenue at Tiburon Boulevard, where the old rail trail crosses. We have a lot of issues out there because the path narrows as you approach San Rafael Avenue. So what this project will do is we'll go in there and analyze how to widen the path, maybe bulb out the existing curbs that are there to slow the right turn traffic from Tiburon Boulevard onto San Rafael, provide better sight distance for motorists and pedestrians that are waiting there to cross San Rafael, and also widen the path for our public works vehicles that need to cross through there. This was also identified in our current traffic safety or traffic study that Parametrics is working on. This was one of the intersections where they are looking at improving. So we're going to use some of their recommendations for this. Steps, lanes, and path improvements. So Commissioner Angela McInerney from our Post Commission about 3 years ago spent a very long time putting together a list of all the steps, every lane, and every path in within the town of Tiburon and ranked them with pictures, jotted down their deficiencies, and then put an order of what needs to be fixed first, priorities. So it's a document that's about 50 pages or so long with really nice pictures and identified pretty much, I think, 99.9% of all of our inventory out there. So this is the first time that we are putting funding in specifically just to go over that list and start knocking out some of those small projects within that pamphlet, that she put together with all of our steps, lanes, and paths within the town. Fire road maintenance. Every year for the last couple of years, we've been working on fire road maintenance. Our operations manager and our public works department works closely with the veg management division of the Tiburon Fire District. And we go out and identify all of our fire roads that we have here within town, and we make improvements to them, whether it would be drainage improvements, regrading, widening. We worked on the Middle Ridge Fire Road, Lower Fire Road about a couple years ago. And in there, we every year after winter, we'd get a lot of ruts. The stormwater would wash out the road. So we went out there and did a lot of work in preparing that sub base, putting in rock, and just making these fire roads a safe path of travel just in case we need them for emergencies. So we're putting another $100,000 in to work on all of our fire roads here in Tiburon. Open space management. We developed a short-term implementation plan about 3 years ago, and that's what we've been following. It's basically the same open space management program that we have, but the 5-year short-term implementation plan we have is it takes the 250 pages and condenses it down to 30 and tells us what to work on every year. And this year we went, I don't know if you remember, we had the goats a couple years ago, and the goats just, they don't like our vegetation here. It's too strong. And so we can't use them. I wish we could, but we don't have a lot of prairie, nice grassy areas for them. We have a lot of French broom, coyote brush, pampas grass, and they don't like a lot of that. And I don't think they like our French broom either. So we moved to mechanical means. And this year we worked on the Evie property in Middle Ridge, and we spent about $100,000, and we have cleared that whole 40 or 50 acres of everything, all invasive species that you see out there, all the coyote brush, trimmed up trees, limbed them. There's no way we would be able to do that with goats or by hand tools. So this mastication machinery that we use, that we go out and have a contractor come out, they're doing wonders for us. So we're putting in another $160,000, and we were able to expand into all other areas within town. This year we plan on doing a lot of work over there on our properties, but near Ring Mountain. And so that's our next phase to do work out there. Blackie's Pasture Beach Restoration. Again, this is a project that is fully grant funded by the State Coastal Commission. The County of Marin Public Works is the lead on this project. Roger Leventhal, who's their senior engineer, has taken this project from infancy all the way up now to almost 100% design. We are at the last process, or the last stage of getting our permit from the state for, they have mineral rights actually right under there. So we have to go through some permitting process for the mineral rights that are still retained by the state. So they meet in August. We hope that it'll be a quick approval on that because our construction window is just for the month of September and October. And it's a 3-week construction window, well, it'll take us 3 weeks to do this work. So it all depends on how quickly we can go out to bid and have the contractor out there ready to do the work. If we miss this window, we will at least have all our permits in place. Our grant is good for 3 years, so we plan on going out there next year to do this work. And again, we have 1.5 million in there, and that's all 100% grant funded from the state. Elephant Rock structural analysis and update. Again, we maintain Elephant Rock, the pier, the boardwalk, the gangway, everything there. So every couple of years, we hire a consultant to come out there and do a structural analysis and provide us with a plan on how to remedy any structural deficiencies right there on the pier or on Elephant Rock, the pier itself and the planks. So $25,000 will get us that report, and then we can go out to bid and have a contractor. And typically, I think last year the work was about, or 2 years ago, the work was about under 30,000 to get all the deficiencies corrected. So again, these are small projects that we're able to get a plan prepared and find a contractor to do the work. Gazebo rehab. So about 25 years ago, a small gazebo was donated to the town by a resident, and we've been maintaining that gazebo. It's just below McKegney Green soccer field. So this year we are going to again go in there and do some rehabilitation to it. It needs some repairs. Last time we did repairs, I believe, was during COVID. It was 2020 or 2021. So we're going to go in there and just change any wood structures that have deteriorated or dry rotted, replace the roof, any areas of the roof that need to be replaced, paint it so that it can be enjoyed for years to come. Park amenity improvements. So this is another new project. It's not tied to anything. It's tied to the Parks Master Plan. So we just put in a number for town council consideration, for town council to, at their June 4th meeting, basically right now, they did ask staff to go out with an RFP to hire a landscape design architect to look at the Richardson Bay Sanitary District site and provide some renderings and some design work on what the public would like to see out there, vetted through post and then brought back to town council. So we just put a $200,000 placeholder here for to pay for the architectural work and possibly some amenities as well. But council does have, they can go in there and amend the budget if we need more, but that's just a placeholder for any future Parks Master Plan work that's coming up in fiscal year 26. Broadband fiber network infrastructure design. We've been working on this here for a couple years. I'm happy to say that our design is 95% complete right now for this project. We have submitted our design over to Caltrans Encroachment Permit Department for review. What we plan on doing is the work with Caltrans with their CAP-M project, the paving of Tiburon Boulevard. We want to include this project with theirs when they go out to bid as a bid add-on. It'll be advantageous for the town that if their contractor does the work. Currently, we will pay for the added cost, but Caltrans will then do all of the construction management for it. This project will install a 3-inch conduit all the way from Highway 101 to Main Street. It'll connect to every existing signalized intersection controller cabinet, and it'll actually then go into the entrance of every neighborhood and terminate there for future neighborhood use if we have an ISP provider that wants to expand to the neighborhoods with fiber. So right now, again, 95% done with design, and we're about, I want to say 75% done with all the environmental work for it. We anticipate having this project completed with permits in hand by this fall. Tiburon traffic study. We've been working on this now for about a year, and we are, I want to say, right around 65 to 70% complete with this project. Parametrics is currently in their recommendation stage. They will be providing their draft recommendations for Tiburon Boulevard and Paradise Drive, Trestle Glen, and around all the schools here next month for our advisory committee to review. Once we review it, we'll come back with the advisory will have some changes, recommended changes. Parametrics will then revise the plan with those recommended changes and go to town council in August for a draft review. And then we plan on finalizing the traffic study this September with town council approval. And yeah, that was the last project. So with that said, again, tonight's action or recommended action is to adopt a motion finding the draft CIP is consistent with the goals and policies of the Tiburon General Plan. And with that, I'll be able to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, David. That was very comprehensive and helpful. I think we probably have a few questions. I'll start with a few. I'm going to work backwards, so it'll just make it hopefully easier to answer. I'll start with the last one. Can you describe the relationship, if any, between the traffic study that is commencing at approximately Blackie's pasture with the decision study work that Caltrans is doing with the Caltrans owned road, I guess, leading up to that, how they interrelate, if they do at all?
So in this advisory panel that we have, we meet every couple months. Caltrans is part of this advisory panel that we have together, along with two of our council members, post-commission, City of Belvedere representatives, myself. Caltrans, their point of view for this project is that it is just a maintenance of the existing pavement. So they have not conducted any of their studies. So what we are doing is supplementing this project with our own study and providing recommendations to them so that they can incorporate into their design. Meaning, if we think that, for instance, if a roundabout is a better suit for Tiburon at Trestle Glen, we'll provide that to them as a recommendation, backing it up with the study. The bike lanes, again, they're proposing class 4 bike lanes from the 101 to Blackie's pasture. Again, our consultant is looking at it at those bike lanes, not specifically doing a safety analysis on them, but more looking at them if they'll add more congestion to Tiburon Boulevard or not. Looking at where they start and stop, their termination point, how they blend into Old Rail Trail. They'll be looking at all of that. But as far as the design itself, we are kind of hand in hand, but we're not supplying them with hard, you need to do this.
Well, the reporting had suggested that Caltrans's plans were already set for what they were going to do. But your description makes it seem as if it's still in the design phase.
It is. Their design phase was set to be they were going to be at 100% by June 30th. But lately there's been a lot of back and forth from constituents, from jurisdictions, which will cause a delay for this project. So it will not be moving forward as planned.
I just want to make sure that the work y'all are doing with
Yeah.
respect to the traffic study, which doesn't sound like it's completed, will not be too late.
No. The original timeline was construction or 100% plans were supposed to be completed by June 30th. They were going to have it listed for advertising in September, end of August, and then construction next February. But all of that has been delayed. It'll be delayed for about 2 years. So we have plenty of time, not only for the traffic study to be completed and with all of our recommendations vetted through Caltrans and possibly incorporated into this project, our fiber optics project will be completed as well with encroachment permit in hand, where they can actually bid that project with theirs in a couple of years as well.
Let me ask you a quick question about the broadband issue. Well, now that you raised it, going backwards. So the work you described is at some point going to require, for lack of a better description, undergrounding work. Is that right?
That is correct.
So is that expense going to be bore by Caltrans, or is that also a town expense?
That will be a town expense for now, but we will be working with them to see if they can. They're going to have a big benefit here, because right now their signals don't communicate with each other. Their timing plans drift apart because all these cabinets have their own internal clocks. And if the internal clocks drift, meaning their master clock is off by 2 seconds, that may not seem a lot to anyone, but 2 seconds will probably add 15 to 20 seconds of red or green light that a vehicle's not getting, which causes backup. So this fiber that we put in here, not only will Caltrans be able to communicate with every signalized intersection, they'll also be able to expand into the new AI technology with adaptive signaling, meaning that we won't have any detector loops. The signals will just communicate with each other based on the cameras that they have out there on their equipment to see how traffic is looking, extending green lights more than they need to because of traffic, or shortening them. So it's a game changer with this fiber optics project, and they'll benefit a lot from it.
Hopefully Caltrans will pony up. Let me ask you about Elephant Rock. So there are a couple of occasions in which the expense that is designated is for the hiring of a consultant to do some work. On Elephant Rock, that was, I think, an example of that. The question I have is, it looked as if we had previously paid some cost to a prior consultant in 2022 to do some work with respect to Elephant Rock, but then the work was not done. Is that right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, it was a consultant that did some work for us. This was one to analyze if it was a good idea to have a kayak launch site off of Elephant Rock or near it. And in doing so, they did look at some of the structural members of Elephant Rock underneath the pier itself. And we did make some of those recommended repairs. And one of them were like the handrails. We had to replace all the handrails.
Were those repairs made post that consulting report?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this proposed consultant is to update what happened since 2022?
Correct, because our maintenance workers, when they go out there on a weekly basis to clean and power wash, and they notice structures that are, it's just not looking safe. The planks are coming apart, lifted, the bolts are getting rusted. So this is just to keep up with it and see what's needed. Eventually, the Elephant Rock will need a major redo. It needs, we're looking at about $1 million probably to do it. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. We're just trying to.
This consulting report will hopefully help identify exactly what that cost potentially could be depending upon the repairs.
That is correct.
I see. Okay. Let me ask you about the transfer switch issue that you talked about before, the transition and the lack of power from solar to the backup generator. Have y'all looked into moving away from a diesel fuel generator to backup batteries instead?
Our town manager has discussed that with us, a master backup battery that will put additional solar on the library. We've talked about it with the library, but that is our ultimate goal, to get away from the diesel. Right now, we have solar. We don't have any backup batteries for us right now, so we're not able to store anything, but that is.
I just wonder if the consultant that you're going to hire to look at various repairs for the town physical plant here could also look at cost associated with the purchasing installation of batteries that can actually store power, because it eliminates the need for fuel in the first instance.
Mhm.
and it accomplishes at a much better ecological cost, having that backup power.
You're absolutely right. And we're very lucky to have our sustainability coordinator, Grace Ledwith, right? And she is working on she has had a couple meetings with staff, myself and the town manager in a master plan to have backup batteries that will basically power town hall and the library during any outage.
Yeah, I think that would be
Mhm.
great. Last question I have for you for now, thank you, is there was a reference to the repaving of Paradise Drive. And you indicated that that project had prior been approved by the town council already. Did I get that right? Did I hear that right?
You are correct, because that project is one of our programs, and the money that's earmarked for that project can only be used for paving, and
Okay, I think
It's
what you
restricted.
just said answered the next question I'm going to have for you, which is if it was already approved by town council, why are we looking at it now? But I think because that was just a budget earmark, this is now a specific application of that.
That is
fund.
correct.
Okay, great, thanks. Okay, let me open it up to the other commissioners for questions they also have. Thank you.
I just have a few questions. Those are really excellent questions, and you provided really wholesome and excellent responses. You've thought through a lot of this. On the parametrics traffic study, just out of curiosity, was there, does that involve community input, or was it more really a technical analysis that parametrics performed? And of course, with the August Town Council coming up, that would presumably be an opportunity for folks to weigh in on their recommendations.
No, absolutely. So they have conducted in-house workshops here at Town Hall. They've also conducted 2 Zoom workshops for folks, during the day that can't make it here in the evenings. They've presented to Town Council with an update already once. So we do have one more public workshop held, or we have a placeholder for one. We're working with our advisory to see if we're going to have one more coming up, because we will go to Town Council twice. So we feel like maybe that would be it's another good forum for community input. They did do a survey, statistically valid survey as well. So they received a lot of input through their survey that we had open for about a month.
How has the participation been?
In the beginning, participation was great. It still is. I get emails, not as much as I used to, because it's not like the Parks Master Plan. I'll just keep getting them all the time, even now that it's been adopted. But with traffic, they'll let me know what their issue is, and that's my issue. Fix it.
Right.
And that's what I send over to our parametrics group, and they look at. And I think that, our one of the major areas that we have issues at is at Trestle Glen and Tiburon Boulevard. That's a bottleneck.
Choke point.
Choke point.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that right there, with some of their creative designs, they're looking at roundabouts. They're looking at 2-lane roundabouts, single-lane roundabouts, widening Tiburon Boulevard. And we have had Caltrans engineers in our meetings with those, and they seemed very intrigued with the roundabout idea. So we will have some time now to actually, hopefully, maybe incorporate that, where they're also looking at pedestrian crossings. Should we do any overpass pedestrian crossings in the areas? So I know views will come into play, but also with some of these crossings, you have to also have ADA in mind. So they're going to end up having to do some type of corkscrew up and down, kind of like what you see in Corte Madera by the
Or a
mall.
funicular.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be incredible. Yeah,
They will be at Town Council in August with their draft presentation. So we're going to heavily advertise that through all of our social media accounts and
opportunity for
online.
people to come.
Absolutely.
And weigh in. On the town hall security cameras, have there been incidents of vandalism, of any kind of threats or?
No, none of that, but we do get some contractors that get very upset But sometimes they say they get upset, but I don't notice them upset. So we just want
Right.
something here to help back
Understand.
up staff if something does happen where we have something to show what the incident was.
You're not noticing a heightened, like any increase in.
No, yeah, this place is safe. I'm here.
Well, that's great to hear. Um, uh, just, I know that these are anticipated projects and so not all of them will happen. These are ones that you think may happen. What percentage do you try to get through on an annual basis of the,
So like here,
I mean, how do you, this is just process, my own curiosity
Right.
about your process.
so our programs are bike and pedestrian, our drainage and our paving projects, 100%, they all get done every year. It's the special and community ones. It all depends on the bandwidth for staff and if there's any contractors that want to do the work. Sometimes we'll go out there and we're just too busy. We can't get it done. So I'm going to say out of these 29 projects you see here, between 60 to 70% will be completed this year.
That's a realistic.
That's a realistic. And out of these 29 projects, 12 of them are related to the parks
Yeah.
master plan.
Many relating to parks. Another process question, there are so many grants, a lot of grant funding. Who's preparing those applications? That's a lot of work. Staff. Is that you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, well, that's really, interesting. I hadn't appreciated that.
Well, we have to be very selective with the grants that we apply for because we are not a disadvantaged community.
Right.
And with that being said, we
Difficult.
don't qualify for a lot of these grants.
Yeah, yeah. Great to see a lot of Measure A funding.
Measure A, yeah,
Um,
TAMP helps a lot, yes.
Yeah. And then the last question, the park on San Rafael Avenue, that little park that I didn't realize was a town park. There are boats, kayaks out there. Who owns those? I've always been really curious about that. And can I just grab one and go out? That's
Let's get to the real.
Yes.
exactly. I have really been tempted.
Well, believe it or not, Post is looking at possibly
Yeah.
having an official kayak launch site
Mhm.
there at that park.
Mhm.
Now, parking is difficult.
Totally, yeah.
There's no area to park, but then again, we are looking at it. We have a subcommittee with the Post Commission that's looking at different areas for the kayaks sup launch, and that's one of the parks that they're looking at. Yeah.
Yeah. But who does own that? Are those just, do people just
I
their
think
boats out there?
they just leave them
Stash
there.
'em?
They stash them. They're not the towns. They're just left there.
Seen them as much recently, but in years past I had.
Get in one and we'll read about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then I'll find out who owns them as soon as I do that.
Very quickly.
That's all that I have. Thank you.
So thanks for pulling this together. It's clear you put a lot of work in as you do every year. And, in my opinion, I think this is very consistent with the goals and policies of the general plan. So again, appreciate the time. And certainly won't try to recreate the wheel of what you guys have done. But each year going forward, it's helpful to see these in context. So on the summary page, it doesn't have dollar amounts. On the detailed pages, it has dollar amounts, but they're, slide by slide. And I was trying to figure out what order these were in. Was it alphabetical? Was it related to the types of projects? Was it the dates that it was going to get done? I couldn't figure it out, which doesn't mean that there is no order, but certainly helpful so that we can just put into context. This is how much is related to the parks. This is how much is related to traffic, would be helpful. And then just for my, or I guess maybe for our edification, recognizing that you go to town council with the whole projects and they decide what goes on, be helpful to sort of see that again in context. If there's 29 projects, 60% are going to get done, but there are 100 projects that we started with and these got whittled down to the top priority. Again, just framing it for us in terms of where to focus. I was trying to go through and, we can spend a minute on each one, 29 projects, but some of the projects are a couple $1 million, right? Probably worth spending a lot more time on those. But also, like Commissioner Williams had asked, but if you're getting $1.5 million paid for out of the $1.5 million from a grant, then maybe we don't have to spend that much time on those. So anyway, just for if we see you again here next year, if you see us again here next year, that would be super helpful for me, at least. I'm a numbers guy, but But I thought this is great. I'm very thankful for Commissioner sort of Chair Sai, asking the question around how do we get the broadband initiative and the traffic initiative to coincide with the actual work going on. I was bummed that it seemed like it wasn't going to happen, over the last year. Great that it seems like it is, although only because of delays by the state for 2 more years, hopefully only 2 more years. That would be an amazing project, obviously, for the town to tie all that together. So I hope that the findings from these reports do make their way in with speed. So, but I have no actual additional questions.
Okay, I think you were asking about essentially maybe a prioritization of those projects. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I endorse that. I think it would be helpful. I think Commissioner Woodward used the word context, contextualizing how they fit into your priority list. That's Commissioner Williams's question, I think is a really good idea. The other thing, and you already answered it also in response to Commissioner Williams's question, is how much you expect this will actually be accomplished with, all other things being equal, and whether any of these, and I'm not sure if you answered this part or if this was asked, whether any of these 29 projects represent projects from the prior fiscal year that are being reproposed because for whatever reason, they just didn't get done or whatever.
Yeah.
We can certainly set up a staff report differently next time where you see those priorities.
Yeah, I think that would be very helpful.
Maybe side by side, last year's, this year's,
Exactly.
where they fall.
I think
Absolutely.
Accomplishments, where we are in them,
Yeah.
what we're proposing
Yeah,
for the
don't
next
forget
year.
accomplishments.
That's right. I think that's a part that we always forget to, pat ourselves,
Yeah.
all of ourselves on. So
I do think in
Probably
the
a
past,
handful.
we've shown some, if you go back and look at least maybe 2 years ago, but more of a timeline, if it's a $500,000 project and it was 200,000, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, and we're in year 3 of that, you can see that some of that has been spent and what we have left to go.
So that put it into context here too. One of the things we're supposed to be doing tonight is just to make sure that we see that it's consistent with the general plan. So I don't want my comrade, my friend over here to spend too much time providing us with timelines, but I think in a very kind of bigger umbrella type of thing, we could show the commission how it meets these goals or how we've met the goals and what we intend to do in the future, maybe in a priority way as well, but just not in the how much money we spent necessarily. I don't know if that is as important to the commission.
And I think, I guess my only response to that would be to be consistent with the general plan, we have to actually execute on it and get the things done. And so back to I think what Commissioner Sai was asking about, like with Elephant Rock, we've spent money on numerous consultants. And so is anything actually getting done? We had a great answer. You had a great response. Totally makes sense. Right. But again, just trying to make sure we're spending $6 million of the town's money, that ultimately progress is being made on that front.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think even within the context of the commission's role to evaluate whether or not a draft CIP is consistent with the general plan, it does require the context to understand how this project fits in both priority. Has this been an annual, and by the way, I asked the question because I was hoping the answer was going to be what you gave us, by the way, which is, yes, we don't just spend $50,000 to hire a consultant every year to do the exact same thing he did last year. And by the way, we've not made any changes based on what he said. That, to me, would not be consistent with the general plan, but I'd only know that with that context. So you've been very kind to listen to our feedback about that, but I think that would be frankly helpful for us to be able to contextually understand how it fits in to the general plan. Yeah. Okay. Well, very useful presentation, David. Thank you for taking all the time. Dina, you too, and Chris as well.
Yeah.
My view is that this draft CIP, as drafted by staff and presented by David, is consistent with.
Can I hold you for a second? We didn't ask for any public comment. I just want to make sure there's nobody online for public comment. We never asked for that. We went right to,
Deliberate.
right to questions
Yeah,
and
let me
discussion.
finish my comment.
Okay.
And then we can do that. So I find that it is consistent with the general plan, but thank you, Dina, for pointing out we haven't done the public comment, so we'll do that in a second. Once we hear from any public comment that there is, I'll invite the commissioners to provide any other feedback they have, and then we can discuss at that time whether there is a motion to be made to adopt the draft CIP. But Dina, thank you. Chris, are there any public comments here in person or online to present?
We have no public comments this evening.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, let me open it back up to the commission for any comments or frankly, questions they might have. And then I'll invite a motion to adopt.
I have no additional questions or comments.
I agree with my fellow commissioners that this is, these projects are consistent with the general plan, really execute on the general plan. And I just wanted to really give the highest praise. I think the Department of Public Works for Tiburon does an extraordinary job, and does it pretty quietly. I often don't notice that all these things are happening throughout the year, but a lot of work is happening. And there's a lot that goes into it. I've come from a family of civil engineers, so I know all the analysis that you're doing, the due diligence, applying for grants, getting permitting, doing the work, there's so much that goes into it. And these things deteriorate quickly, especially Elephant Rock up against the bay waters. So I can totally understand why those would need that type of infrastructure needs regular maintenance, regular work. And I'm so grateful to the staff, to the town for doing this for us. I certainly don't take it for granted. Very excited to see all of the park projects that are doing. Not only are you a public works department, you're a parks and open space department, which is not true of, every community. So that's an incredible, just an extraordinary amount of work. And I'm really excited to see a lot of things that I've noticed, as I walk. I use the paths a lot, the Old Rail Trail, and you've really kind of homed in on a lot of projects that I think are going to just enhance that that pathway tremendously. So very excited about that. And also just great job getting all that grant funding. It's such a conservative, judicious use, I think, of general funding. I hope that you're doing such a good job. I'd love for the town, for us to someday give you a new corporation yard. Because to give you the corporation yard you deserve. And that concludes my comment.
Yeah, great comments. Thank you. Okay, let me invite a motion to adopt the draft CIP as being consistent with the Tiburon General.
So you're not adopting the CIP, you're finding it consistent. So you want a motion finding the CIP consistent with the goals and policies of the Tiburon General Plan. So you're not really adopting the CIP plan itself.
What did I say?
Adoption of the plan.
Okay.
So
yeah, thank you. It is and I'll invite a motion to adopt.
to make a finding.
A motion to invite a motion
I'll make a
to
motion.
find
Yeah.
that the draft CUP is consistent with the town of Tiburon general.
So move.
Okay, that
Excellent.
motion is made by Commissioner Williams. Do we have a second?
I would second that.
It is seconded by Commissioner Woodward. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed? Okay, great. The motion to finding the draft CIP consistent has been adopted. Great. Okay, everyone, thank you very much. I think that concludes our meeting unless there's any other matters for this evening. I see none. Okay, well then I will declare this meeting adjourned.